Hey, what's up? RQBHD here. Today we're going to explore what I've learned so far regarding the upcoming game Ragnarok X Next Generation. I've been playing Ragnarok Eternal Love since the start of the Southeast Asia server, and I managed a guild there as well. Just to highlight, I am no way leaving my character in ROM. I have quite an investment in that character, 40% deposit, and have my friends there. Also, this is not why ROX is better than ROM and a vice versa video. I believe both games has its pros and cons, and there's enough space for us to enjoy both. I've read and watched a couple of videos, and let's just say I kinda like some of the mechanics in this new Ragnarok game, and I believe it warrants at least a try. This is more of a condensed information of things to know for those fellow ROM players that want to try the game. There's a couple of good content creators out there in YouTube like Jadezz, Popayama, and others. So this is a video of what I've learned so far and my opinion on them. Okay, first things is the combat lockout system or fatigue system, whatever you call it. But basically it's the mechanic where the game limits your actual playing time. In ROM it's called combat time. In ROX it's a bit interesting. Let's start with consumption. Alright, for those who are coming from ROM, whatever you think about stamina consumption, you can throw it out of the window. In ROX, no matter how many times you hit or how long you kill a monster, the consumption is always the same for that monster. If, let's say, I one hit KO a Poring, it consumes 1 stamina. If it takes my character 5 hits to kill the same Poring, it consumes 1 stamina. You get it? One hitting a mob is less important here, and I like the system as it addresses 2 things I don't like in ROM. First is it immediately frees you from the shackles of having to grind in a spot that has close spawn points. Yes, I'm looking at you, Covert. And I like this because it discourages the quote-unquote spot mentality. There's less reason for you to camp in the same map just because it's more combat time efficient, which also prevents toxic player behavior, so everybody wins. Next is we won't, at least I hope, be grinding in the same spot for months. I mean, come on guys, do you remember when episode 4 was released and Magma Dungeon 1 is the most efficient map to grind? It was so bad that it's the best spot for a couple of episodes, not just months. Episodes. It was only replaced by Plains of Ida 3 episodes after. And to me that's bad game design. So with that, I hope we properly see a map progression and have more reasons for player to explore the new maps as they get released. Basically, since it will offer better rewards without having to think of combat time efficiency. Now that we get that out of the way, the next thing we need to know regarding ROX fatigue system is the 2 kinds of mechanics for this. First is what we call Odin's Blessing, which is basically a buff that gives you extra times 5 EXP and drop rate per consumption. And the other is stamina for doing non-combat activities called RO life skills. Your character's growth in terms of leveling and getting Zenny is mostly influenced by Odin's Blessing. You can get a maximum of 2,000 Odin's Blessing, which translates into 2,000 monsters killed. Roughly, and I'll explain that more in detail in a minute. So what happens after I use up all of my daily Odin's Blessing? Can I still grind? Yes, you can still kill monsters, but it will only give you the normal EXP and the normal drop rate for that. The only upside here is after using up your Odin's Blessing, you can still grind for how long you want, which is pretty cool for free-to-play players out there. But I think this is not the most efficient way to play, as I would rather spend these playing minutes using up my other stamina, the one for RO life skills. And I'll explain that part in a minute as well. But before that, how do I get Odin's Blessing? First is by going to Frontera Fountain for 30 minutes. This is similar to ROM's music box, wherein you just need to linger around and that gives you around 600 Odin's Blessing. And the other one is doing daily board quest, and there are 10 of them. Each one gives you 140. So both of this would give you your daily limit of 2000 Odin's Blessing. Now, moving to the other stamina, the game includes a very interesting mechanic for non-combative grinding through what they call RO life skills. It's basically the stamina you consume when you use life skills such as fishing, mining, and gardening. And you might be wondering what these RO life skills are, and we'll get that in another video. All you need to remember first is you have 2 fatigue system, and to put it simply, when killing monsters, you use Odin's Blessing, and when you're doing other stuff, you use stamina. For each Odin's Blessing you consume, you get an equivalent RO life skill stamina. I know it's confusing, but hear me out. It's really simple. You get 2000 Odin's Blessing, and each time you kill a monster, that fills your other stamina. So if you use up all of your Odin's Blessing, you should have 2000 stamina for life skills. I'll pause for a second and let that sink in. Okay, now you get it. Now I want to explain something regarding grinding and Odin's Blessing. Remember I told you 2000 Odin's Blessing roughly translates to 2000 monsters killed. So here's the explanation for that. The consumption is affected by the monster size. Depending on the size of the monster you killed, that's the amount of Odin's Blessing that is consumed. Small monsters consume 1 Odin's Blessing, medium consumes 2, large consumes 3. So does that mean I can kill 2000 small monsters and only kill 1000 medium monsters? Yes, and for those ROM farmers out there, you might be thinking that going this small is the most efficient way to grind, right? Not necessarily, because in ROX or ROX conveniently scales the EXP for the monster size, which is logical. And just take a look at ROM. A large size Seroma gives you 5,461 base EXP, while a small size Seroma gives you 6,490. And that just doesn't make sense. In ROX, what I see so far, large monsters give higher XP than medium monsters. Medium monsters gives higher XP than small monsters, which totally makes sense. Now that you don't need to kill only small size monsters to maximize your Odin's Blessing. Okay, another thing I learned is the concept of party XP buffs. Old school party leveling. Leveling in a party has less emphasis in ROM. As you know, farm efficiency is king, and the only time you do this is you do it with alts. But in ROX, in this chart, you can see that for X number of team members in a party gives you a sort of EXP buff, and it's further enhanced if all of the different classes are in the party with you, which is pretty cool. Now, there's a video from King Spade, which I will link down below, that explained this in deeper. But in here, I'll give you the summary. In here, you see without Odin's Blessing, he is getting 78 base EXP. With Odin's Blessing on, it's 468, which is base EXP plus base EXP times 5. But with a party of 3 different classes as well, he is getting 423 because the party bonus EXP plus normal EXP is divided equally among the 3 party members. Which now you will think that it's not the best way to grind, right? Since you get less EXP. Which is completely fine if you look at it that way. But here's an idea. While it's true that you get slightly more EXP when grinding solo, this will also mean it will take you longer time to consume all of your Odin's Blessing. Compared to a party, each time a party member kills a monster, you get a corresponding EXP and the Odin's Blessing consumption. So for the same amount of time, you will be getting more EXP with a party. Disclaimer, this is all math and all theory, so take it with a pinch of salt. So let's use the same example as above. Normal EXP gives you 78, and with Odin on, it gives you 468. Now remember when I talk about 200 Odin's Blessing is equals to roughly 2,000 monsters. So let's say you can kill a monster per second. Well, one monster per second. So one pouring per second. So you'll have 2,000 seconds. You'll get a total of 2,000 times the 468 Odin's Blessing EXP. That will give you 963,000 base EXP. Now, imagine if you are in a party of 4, each one can kill a monster per second as well. You will finish your 2,000 Odin's Blessing for just 500 seconds. But with all of the party XP computation, deduction, and stuff, in the 500 seconds, you'll only get 78 times 445% bonus divided by the party members, around total of 836,555 EXP. Still lower than the solo EXP. But imagine this is just for 500 seconds. Again, compared to the 2,000 seconds, you still have around 1,500 seconds remaining. And if you grind this solo, that gives you an additional of 117,000 EXP. So for the same 2,000 seconds, in summary, Odin's Blessing solo gives you 936,000 EXP, while Odin's Blessing in a party of 4 gives you 836,550 plus the solo XP for the extra 1,500 seconds of 117,000. That's a total of 953,000, which is now slightly higher than doing solo. Okay, I hope I didn't confuse you guys with those math and stuff, and that's been it. And I hope I give this fellow ROM player some insight on how stamina, EXP, and leveling works in ROX. Thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you love it, and catch you next time. Peace.